Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at the Arsenal player ratings versus Crystal Palace, and we're going to look at how the Gunners got on individually in their Premier League clash with the Eagles at Selhurst Park. So the first person on the list is Bernd Leno, and he made several smart saves in the first half as Crystal Palace looked to try their luck from distance. He dealt well with the crosses the opposition looked to lob into Benteke. And with Bernd Leno's speculation regarding whether he will stay at the club or whether he will leave at the club, this was a strong performance from the goalkeeper. For me, he deserves an 8 for his performance. Next up, we got Callum Chambers. He struggled a little at times to deal with Wilfried Zaha, but not the first person to have that problem. He was never beaten catastrophically, but did struggle to impact the game offensively as much as you've seen in recent weeks. But there were some moments where I thought in the last stages where I thought Callum Chambers put in very good crosses. There was one to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang where he could have buried it if he used his head instead of trying to use the outside of his foot. But he had a decent performance in my opinion, and it was a standard performance by Callum Chambers, nothing too special, but for his performance he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Rob Holding. It was given a tough test by Christian Benteke, and after dealing with it well in the first half, he struggled in the second. Zaha's trickery also caused him trouble as he was exposed often in the second period, and I thought it was a poor performance by Rob Holding, someone that I think spot might be taken if William Saliba comes back next season, but for his performance he deserves a 5. Next up, we got Gabriel Magalhães, and he was out-muscled by Christian Benteke for the goal he scored after generally standing up well to the physical test before that. He was worked a lot harder in the second half, and he struggled on occasion, but he was a decent performance by Gabriel Magalhães. Is a standard performance by him, nothing too special, but it could mean that Pablo Mari still has a good chance of coming back to the squad, but for his performance he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Kieran Tierney, and he was booed mercilessly by the Palace fans after being kicked off the ball by Joel Ward in the first half, but claps back with an assist for Nicolas Pépé's goal, like the rest of the team slowed down in the second half though. And I thought Kieran Tierney had a decent game, someone that's been very pivotal to this Arsenal team, but for his performance today, he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Thomas Partey. He had some good covering in the first half, but again lost his rhythm in the second. His fading influence was symptomatic of Arsenal's loss of control in the game. I thought it was a smart decision by Mikel Arteta to take him off this time. Last time, the same thing I was seeing was just a reminiscence of the game versus Villarreal, where he was losing the ball often, his passes were not there. But for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Mohamed Elneny, and it could be argued that he was fouled by the Benteke goal, but a less charitable assessment is that he wasn't strong enough when he needed to be. He showed a bit of fight, but struggles to find the quality to match that. We can clearly see that Mikel Arteta knows that he needs a new midfielder to Thomas Partey, and someone like Iber Bissouma fits the bill for me perfectly, and we're going to meet him against Brighton next game, and it all depends on how Arsenal play in that game, because if they get that win and the other teams fail, they get European football, but for his performance today, he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Bukayo Saka, and it was an excellent piece of skill to backheel the ball to Kieran Tierney in the build-up to the goal, but he struggles to influence the game as much after being moved to his third different position in as many games. And I think hopefully Bukayo Saka wasn't injured or anything, and it was just a cautionary move by Mikel Arteta, because he is someone that for me definitely needs to be in the England squad, but for his performance today, I think he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Emile Smith Rowe, and he found the pockets of space in front of the Palace back line in the first half that really caused Roy Hodgson's side problems. However, once the host fixed that problem, his influence declined, and Emile Smith Rowe was someone that had a very good glimpses of the ball. He had a good runs, but it was a standard performance by him again and nothing too special, so for his performance he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Nicolas Pépé, and he scored yet another goal, and this one was an absolute beauty, and looking to be enjoying himself back over on the right hand side. He disappeared a bit in the second half, but the goal right at the death to make it safe was even better than the first. You can clearly see that Nicolas Pépé is someone that's growing in confidence. He's getting the run of games that he deserves, in my opinion, and hopefully when we move into this new season, if we do get that Europa League spots, because that's our only hope at the moment, but we will have to wait and see how he develops into a top player. But for his performance today, he deserves an 8. Next up, we got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he was hardly given anything to work off by the players in behind him. But when the half chances did come, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang didn't look quite as sharp as he did in recent weeks. He needs to put the season behind him and focus on improving next campaign. And hopefully we do get the European spot, because players like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang need to be in the European place. At least the Europa League, for me, Champions League is where I want to be. But right now, with the way Arsenal's playing, the way we have need a massive rebuild, maybe we need to go in the summer transfer window. If Europa League gives us a lot of money, then we have to get into that position, and you have to wait and see where we end up. But for Aubameyang's performance today, he deserves a 5. Now, in terms of the substitutes, we first got Martin Odegaard, and it was a crucial pass in the build-up to Gabriel Martinelli's goal, which made up for a relatively anonymous display after coming on, and that one glimpse of success by Martin Odegaard deserved a 7 for his performance. After, we had Granit Xhaka, and bringing him on as a centre-back in the last few moments was perhaps an odd choice, but it's good to have the Swiss international back. So for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 6. And finally, we have Gabriel Martinelli, who got in behind the Palace defence for the second, a scrappy goal that was symbolic of Arsenal's poor second half display. And for his performance today, he deserves a 7. And he is someone that definitely needs to start in the game versus Brighton. And in terms of Mikel Arteta, he got this victory. Now pretty much the last game is going to be like a final for everyone, because there's 4 teams fighting for that 6th position. We have to wait and see if results go to our favour. We have to see how things are going to pan out. Hopefully we get the Europa League spot. I know you guys are going to be thinking we have lowered our standards, but for me, a European place is something that the Gunners need, in my opinion. I can't see Arsenal without European football. For me, that Europa League spot means a lot. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.